Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Friday, the 8th of March, 2013. The Federal Aviation Administration and the NTSB have come out with the initial report on the Boeing 787 fire up in Boston's Logan International Airport 3 months ago. The fire apparently quickly burned out of control, and it actually required some 45 minutes for the Boston firefighters to extinguish it. They couldn't put it out because of the chemical reactions of the acids in the battery that were combusting. The Boston Fire Department immediately made the decision to try to get the battery off the plane for fear of possibly igniting the residual fuel that was still in the plane, which was some. The plane had just landed after a flight from Tokyo to Boston. The firefighters could not get the battery off the plane for some 35 minutes. A quick tearaway switch had been melted that would have allowed firefighters to quickly disengage the battery from its emplacement. So as a result, they were forced to bring in a drill to essentially cut the battery away from its housing, and then simply threw it out onto the tarmac, where they then managed to extinguish it with other chemical retardants. Had this happened in flight, this would have been a disaster. What's going on now in Bangladesh is a little bit of a disaster. Leaders and activists of the main opposition party are clashing with the police right now in Dhaka, in the Bangladeshi capital. Police are firing tear gas and rubber bullets at the crowd. Hundreds of protesters are involved in front of the main parliament building. There's been no reports of any deaths today. However, since last Thursday, 61 people have died in riots across the country. United States job numbers came in today. A burst of hiring last month added 236,000 jobs to the United States economy, dropped the unemployment rate all the way down to 7.7% from 7.9%. This is the lowest unemployment rate now in 4 years. In Illinois, at least 10 people have been injured, 3 critically, in an explosion yesterday at a steel castings plant in southwestern Illinois. The blast happened in the cleaning and finishing department at the American Steel Foundries plant in Granite City, Illinois, just northeast of St. Louis. About 800 people work there. The plant produces railroad car undercarriages. The big French broker Gras Savoye plans to lay off more than 10% of its French-based workforce. The company will introduce a reorganization plan to employee representatives next week. It may involve about 300 job cuts. The broker, in which Willis owns a 32% stake, had already shrunk its workforce by between 120 and 130 people last year. Well, here's an interesting thing. The last time Tokyo hosted the Olympics was in 1964, the Summer Olympics, when the American swimmer Don Schollander won a number of gold medals. Tokyo is bidding to host the 2020 Olympics. So to do that, they have to meet with the Olympic Organizing Committee. The Olympic Organizing Committee was in Japan this week. Part of the task of the Japanese authorities were to convince the Olympic authorities that the capital was safe despite fears of earthquakes and nuclear disasters. This was after the Fukushima result in 2011, of course. The 14-member International Olympic Committee team has toured Tokyo, Istanbul, and Madrid, hearing 1 week-long presentations regarding the respective cities. The director of environmental affairs in Tokyo said, "I explained to the IOC there is no problem at all regarding Tokyo's air, water, and food." They also said that the radiation that was released into the environment as a result of the earthquake is now completely under control. They also mentioned their strict construction code makes the buildings in Tokyo highly resistant to big earthquakes, and that the Bay of Tokyo is a semi-enclosed, largely mitigating pool of water that impacts any incoming tsunami. The IOC said, "Well, we listened, they're the experts, and we have noted all their comments." In the National Collegiate Athletics Association, one of the hottest players right now, Johnny Manziel, who won the Heisman Trophy last year, he's in the news, believe it or not. He's in the process of securing what's rumored to be an up to $5 million insurance policy protecting his future earnings should he suffer a career-ending injury in his remaining year in college. This is an interesting contrast to many professional soccer players in England. Here's some more information. At the end of his first year at Alabama, I believe, or wherever he plays, I'm not exactly sure where he plays, I should be, he won the Heisman Trophy. He's now contemplating when he is going to make the step to the NFL. and he wants to make sure that he at least receives some of that money that he would earn if in fact he has a premature injury in his remaining college years. This decision contrasts very starkly to a number of English football players. According to Insurance Day last week, thousands of England's top football players run the risks of losing out on millions of pounds should they suffer a career-ending injury. According to statistics, only a very tiny fraction of professional football players take up any additional policies beyond the standard £25,000 payout policy that they are obligated to take if in fact they have a permanent injury. £25,000 is only $37,000 US. You can be sure that Johnny Manziel is going to get one that pays out a lot more than that. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.